How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. After going through a bit of a rough patch and losing a couple of winnable games, the Lakers would now find it difficult to climb back into a top 4 seed in the Western Conference. They currently are the 5th seed and would be looking at a rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals with the Denver Nuggets if they were to remain there, and let me explain to you why that is exactly what they actually want to have happen. While that might seem a bit odd for them wanting to play the team that they had to match up with to go to the NBA Finals last year, Denver is now a much different team, and I believe they're a much more vulnerable team and do not match up well with the Lakers compared to their team in the prior year, and even then, they only managed to win one game in that entire round. The obvious reason for the Lakers in general wanting to play them in round 1 is because of Denver being without Jamal Murray. He unfortunately tore his ACL and will be out for the remainder of the year. That is obviously a huge blow to their team, especially when you consider how well he played for them in the bubble last year. However, that is not the only reason, and not really even the primary reason why the Lakers want them in round 1, and let me tell you why. Yeah, Nikola Jokic is playing like a legitimate MVP of the league right now, and they did add a good player by trading for Aaron Gordon, but the player who arguably gave the Lakers the most trouble of any player on Denver during their matchup last year was not Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., or even Nikola Jokic. It was actually Jeremy Grant. The main reason why Denver made the trade for Aaron Gordon was because they realized how much they missed Jeremy Grant on their team. And while Aaron Gordon is a good player and has arguably even improved as a two-way player since being traded to Denver, he is not on the level of a Jeremy Grant as a two-way player. Jeremy Grant fit in perfectly with their team, and most importantly, he had the perfect combination of height, length, and athletic ability to match up with either one of LeBron or Anthony Davis when he needed to. While he was not completely able to stop them, something that no player can do, he was able to slow them both down. While defending LeBron through the first 4 games in that round, he held him to 21 points on 18 shot attempts and caused him to turn the ball over 6 times while only having 7 dimes. His ability to match up with LeBron and AD was a big reason for them making it difficult on the Lakers to beat them in 5 games. Although, he was not only valuable in that playoff series because of his defense, but because of his offense too. He was Denver's 3rd leading scorer in that round, averaging over 15 points a game, and even leading them to a Game 3 victory while having a 26-point game. In my opinion, he was their most important player in that entire round, and was arguably their 3rd most important player on their entire team too. And it has not really been that big of a surprise that Jeremy Grant has gone on to average over 22 points a game this year now with Detroit. I do not believe that Denver will get that same kind of two-way production from Aaron Gordon come playoff time. Like I mentioned before, Aaron Gordon is a good two-way player, but he simply is not on the level of a Jeremy Grant. He is not near the defender that Grant is, nor is he as good of an offensive player as Jeremy Grant either. Aaron Gordon is more of a slasher on offense compared to Jeremy Grant, who can create his own shot and is a much better three-point shooter too. To show that, in the past 3 years combined, Jeremy Grant has shot nearly 38% from the three-point line compared to Aaron Gordon, who has shot only about 34%. Come playoff time, that will really be an issue for them while being without Jamal Murray. Jeremy Grant could open up the floor for Jokic to operate down low, but Aaron Gordon is not nearly as reliable from the three-point line as Jeremy Grant. Overall, with Denver now being without both Jamal Murray and Jeremy Grant, who were arguably the 2 toughest players for the Lakers to have to match up with, they likely are favoring this matchup more than any other team around them that they could end up playing. If they manage to beat Denver in only 5 games in the prior year with a healthy Jamal Murray and with Jeremy Grant playing at a high level for them, and with them now being without both of them, why wouldn't they feel confident matching up with them? And now I know some of you might be thinking, aren't you forgetting about a certain MVP candidate that they still have? And no, don't worry, I have not forgotten about Facu Campazzo. Okay, I'm just messing around. Yeah, they still do have Nikola Jokic, but the Lakers actually match up very well with Jokic. No one player can truly stop a player like Jokic, but the Lakers do have a lot of players that they can throw at him to slow him down. They not only obviously have Anthony Davis, who match up with him often during the Western Conference Finals, but they also have Drummond and Marc Gasol too, both of which can match up pretty well with a slower, physical type of player like Jokic. In fact, that is actually one of the reasons why they brought in Marc Gasol. Marc is not the defender that he used to be, but when he does get the opportunity to match up with a slower big like Jokic, he does do pretty well on defense yet. Jokic cannot bully a guy like Mark down low, and Mark also knows how to defend a guy like Jokic, not only because he's defended him many times before, but because he plays a lot like Jokic too. They both like to operate and create plays out of the high post, and both step out to the 3-point line and hit a shot. Jokic is actually a lot like Marc Gasol in his prime, only even better on offense, but not nearly as good as a defender. Anyway, my point is that the Lakers have a bunch of players that they can throw at Jokic to make it difficult on him. They managed to do that last year with a combination of Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard defending him, and they ended up making him a near non-factor in a couple of games by doing that. And through the entire round, he actually only averaged about 21, 7, and 5, which is far below what he normally averages for rebounding and assist numbers per game. And with Denver playing almost entirely through Jokic right now, even though Michael Porter is playing well right now too, if the Lakers could manage to slow down Jokic, it would likely be an easy round for them to win. Denver simply does not have the firepower on either offense or defense that they had last year. I already talked about them being without both Jamal Murray and Jeremy Grant, but they also are now without Gary Harris, Mason Plumlee, and Torrey Craig, all of which were very good defenders for them and helped make an impact while matching up with the Lakers. In my opinion, the Lakers are not a team that Denver would want to see in round 1. But for the Lakers, I truly do believe that they would love to match up with Denver compared to any team above Denver like the Clippers or Utah, or even teams below them like Portland or Dallas. The Lakers are not only familiar with how Denver plays during the playoffs already, but they likely feel confident in their ability to match up with them too. When the Lakers get back a healthy LeBron, and when they all begin to develop chemistry again, they will be a nightmare team for the Nuggets to have to match up with in round 1. The Lakers are perfectly built to contain a guy like Nikola Jokic, and would not even have to worry about the two players in Jamal Murray and Jeremy Grant, who gave them the most trouble in the Western Conference Finals last year. In conclusion, I think the Lakers are actually currently right where they want to be in terms of who they would be matching up with in round 1. There is obviously no guarantee that both they and Denver will remain in the 4th and 5th seed, but if they both do, which seems to be likely, I truly do believe that is exactly what the Lakers want to have happen. But what do you guys think? Which team do you think would be the best matchup for the Lakers in round 1 between the teams that are currently above them in the Western Conference right now? And do you think the Lakers will keep the 5th seed, or do you think they'll climb up or fall down further? Let me know by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. That will do it for this video though. Thank you to everyone who took the time to watch until the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please remember to drop a like on the video and to subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.